Take just 20 seconds to become a business revolutionary by sharing a fan bragging story of great customer service by using the hashtag FanBrag or calling the Fan Bragging hotline at 855-FAN-BRAG. FANBRAG. Now back to Angel and Eric, the Experience Pros.
Welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show, home of positive business talk. It is time to talk about your business and your spending.
Oh, our spending, right? How much are you going to spend over the holidays?
$1 million.
It might feel like it if you don't have a plan. Our guest is Heather Schooler. She's owner of the Money Library, and she helps entrepreneurs in improving their financial position. She gives you an extreme makeover, showing you how to identify and close the process gaps costing you time and money in your business. She has both the educational and hands-on experience to give you the breakthrough your business needs to move to the next level. She's also the author of the newly released book, The Money Library, Volume 1, Living Great on What You Make. She's our profitability expert. You can call her the Money Librarian. Heather Schooler, welcome to Experience Pros.
Well, thank you very much.
Heather, it is fantastic having you here. And I'm excited about this because the holidays means all kinds of cool stuff. There's parties and there's gift giving and there's all kinds of things that we can spend money on. Should we?
Well, that's a great question. And I think the answer is it depends. So it's always great to go out and spend money, especially when you're trying to reward your clients for a great year. But just like some people go a little overboard at Christmas time and spend over their budget for their personal, you don't want to go overtime with your budget and overspend from a business standpoint. So it's great to reward your clients and it's great to reward your employees for a good year, but you need to plan that. You need to have a strict budget guideline to do that.
Ooh, and I think a lot of times, even at home, we don't always adhere to that. I think sometimes we're a little bit better at that at the office because it's not, it's not really my money. It's corporate dollars, but then sometimes it's not my money. It's corporate dollars.
As the owner of the company, I'm just saying, wait a minute, it's somebody's money.
So are there any parameters or any guidelines that you recommend for budgeting for holiday gifts and holiday spending?
Well, I definitely would say if you haven't started, now's the time to prepare a budget. And when you're doing your budget for your company on an annual basis, you also want to actually leave space in your budget for the holidays as well. And when you're doing something in terms of rewarding clients, you may want to have tiers based on the size and the lifetime value of the client. So, everybody may get a holiday card, but not everyone may get that nice bottle of wine sent to their house. And it is, of course, dependent upon how valuable that customer is and what kind of spend they have with you. But if you set up particular tiers, then that helps you to keep that budget somewhat in line.
I love the idea of having tiers based upon the value of the client, because if you don't have tiers based on that value, your budget could provide tiers of a different sort.
Oh, look at what he did there. Look what he did there. Right. What about rewarding our employees? Should we be doing gifts? Should we be doing budgets or not budgets, bonuses? Should we take them all on a trip? Should we do holiday parties? Where should we draw the line?
Well, the interesting thing about employees is that they like to be rewarded in different ways. So you have to really have an understanding of your employees, because some people are not necessarily all about the money. They actually want the recognition or the verbal pat on the back and kudos in front of other people in the organization. And some people aren't necessarily about the kudos, but they just want the check. So just like people have different personality types, you want to have some kind of event that rolls all of those into one so everybody's needs are met. So I always recommend if you've had a great year to have some type of monetary reward, but also to have some type of verbal recognition as well for your employees so everybody gets their needs met.
Okay, so Heather, I know you work with some major corporations. You do this all the time, year round, in their budgets, making sure there's gaps and filling all that in. What has been maybe one of your favorite things that you've seen a company do to reward their employees?
Well, I guess I would say that the companies that I've worked for that have actually done profit sharing with their employees has been my favorite thing to see. They'll typically do that around the holidays, and that really gives the employee the opportunity to feel like family and to feel like the work that they do all year round that helps to generate the profitability of the company, they actually get a share of it. So I would say that's probably the most popular thing that I've seen when working with organizations.
Heather, from an HR perspective, let's talk a little bit about the consistency factor. You mentioned some people are driven by money, and some people are driven by the kudos and the attaboys. And even still, where do I have to be consistent with everybody? Do I have to give attaboys to everybody? Or do I literally, if I give a $10 check, and I'm being facetious here, maybe it's a $100 check, maybe it's $1,000 bonus to somebody, and the person who loves the attaboys didn't get one, am I setting myself up for an HR nightmare?
Well, I would say that again, when you're dealing with profit sharing goes to everybody in the company. But if you're dealing with specific rewards, those rewards should be tied to something that employee specifically did during the course of the year to cause them to have earned that reward. So that's how you avoid the HR issue, is by rewarding those employees that maybe have gone above and beyond, or maybe have saved the organization money, or come up with new ideas that have generated revenue. And that way you don't have one person saying, well, this person got $1,000 bonus and I didn't get anything,
right,
because that bonus is actually able to be tied to work performance.
We're talking with Heather Schooler with the Money Library, themoneylibrary.com. Now, Heather, I know it's the end of the year. We do so much, put so much into the end of the year, business strategy, business planning, our budget for the next year, rewarding our clients, rewarding our employees. What about, can we do this other times of the year? Do you see other companies that maybe don't lump it all into the end of the year, but maybe things that they can do the rest of the year, maybe year round, to reward their clients?
Well, the nice thing about rewarding is, there's never a due date. You can do it any time of the year. This is most popular during the holidays. I've seen a lot of companies who have fiscal years that are, say, in July or in April, where they do their rewards at the end of their fiscal years. I've seen companies do things in the summertime, say have a shutdown where they have a corporate picnic and recognize all of their companies in July. So there's lots of different things that you can do. It's just very popular to do things at the end of the year.
Well, I sure appreciate you being on here and just talking about being profitable all year long. I know that there's an epidemic for small business owners and entrepreneurs not taking a paycheck, not being profitable, which is why we have Heather as our expert guest. Heather, what's the best way you want our audience to connect with you?
I would say the best way to connect with me, to get to all of my social media and my direct contact, would be to get to me on www.mynameheatherschooler360.com. And that'll give you access to every social media platform I'm on and the ability to contact me directly.
HeatherSchooler360.com. It's SCHOOLER. HeatherSchooler360.com. Connect with her. This is the right time of year to put that 2018 budget and all that planning so you can have the most profitable year ever. Heather, I sure appreciate you being here. Do you have a favorite gift that you've ever received as a client from one of or as a client for being a client of a company?
In all honesty, I would say the best gift that I've ever gotten is a handwritten thank you note. So they didn't even really need to spend a dime, but because it was written personally, it just made me feel really special.
I love that. And we, of course, say the same thing. Go take the time and make an impact with a handwritten thank you note. Heather Schooler, thank you for joining us today on the Experience Pros Radio Show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. That's Heather Schooler. You can find more information at heatherschooler.com.
Heather Schooler 360.
Oh, sorry.
heatherschooler360.com.
There you go. We'll be back with more positive business talk right after these messages. You are listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show. For the archives of this broadcast and all the broadcasts that we do, check us out at experiencepros.com. Click on the radio tab, and then there's the archives. Back after this.
The Experience Pros, revolutionizing the way